Virginia colony continued.
The Virginia colony continued.
Okay, I love Disney, just like the rest of the world. However, they got a couple of facts wrong in their movies. One being that John Smith did not marry Pocahontas. It was John Ralph. That seems kind of like a major mistake to me.
Me too. John Ralph is who turned Jamestown and the rest of Virginia into a profit-making machine. Notice that your notes say the Virginia Company. Remember, many colonists are going to be tied to businesses. These businesses fronted the money to make these colonies happen, and in exchange received a portion of the profit back. John Ralph will be a hero of the Virginia Company.
He is responsible for introducing tobacco to the soil of Virginia. Now, tobacco already grew in Europe. However, the demand was so high and production was low. When John Ralph planted tobacco in Virginia soil, it took off like a weed. Everyone began to grow tobacco, and the demand kept right up with the production.
Now, why do you think that the demand continued to grow? If you said smoking is addicting, you are correct. Think about it. The more people who tried smoking tobacco, the more people became addicted to it. That's great for business, not great for health. So again, the item that saved America is also responsible for killing Americans. Pretty ironic.
Many groups were affected by this introduction of tobacco to the colonies, and not all were positive. Women came over and began creating families and more settlements. Slaves were introduced to begin working on tobacco plantations. As tobacco production increased, so did the number of slaves imported to the colonies. You can actually see a direct relationship between these two items. Like if I were to draw a graph, the line for tobacco would increase, and so would the number of slaves coming into the colonies. Native Americans were another group. They were kicked off their land. Colonists did not feel natives made good use of their land, and therefore should not be allowed to keep it. Many poorer Europeans came to America as indentured servants. In exchange for the passage, that's their ticket to America, they agreed to work for a period of years for little or no pay. So you could argue that that was both a positive and a negative thing.
All right, continuing on with the Virginia colony. As the colony of Virginia grew, so did its need for government. With the colony so far away from the king, a colonial government was needed. In Virginia, they established the House of Burgesses. This was the first elected assembly in America.
Ding, 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 ding. This is important.
This was the first elected assembly in America, the House of Burgesses in the Virginia colony. So, colonists were allowed to elect people to represent them in this assembly and make decisions for the colony. This is a very important aspect of our type of government that we have today. Republic, representative democracy, etc.
We do not have a true democracy. If we did, all citizens would vote on every issue in our government. As you can imagine, nothing would ever get accomplished. Therefore, we elect representatives to make decisions for us. This all started back with Parliament in England, and then the Virginia House of Burgesses.
These served as examples for Congress. Our Congress is bicameral, which means two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The House of Burgesses was bicameral as well. This colonial assembly served as an example for other colonies as well.
This start of self-government will allow for more participation by the people, and therefore more say by the people in how their colony is run. Think about it. Parliament served all of England. The House of Burgesses served only Virginia, a much smaller scale of representation. A representative in the House of Burgesses might be representing 20 people, compared to 200 or more in England.
If you don't like what the government is doing, you have the power to change it through voting. This is such a powerful tool used by the people to voice their rights.
Look at the picture in the bottom left corner of the slide. What do you notice about these people? Describe the people inside and standing outside. What conclusion can you draw about the House of Burgesses? Bacon's Rebellion, continuing on with the Virginia colony.